Hi, it's Mike Stevenson here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at a new Turbo 360 feature we've added to help you with budget planning. So I think the use case behind this is when you start delegating cost management to the different teams that look after applications and you want them to take ownership of their own costs. It's common that the sort of leadership will ask team managers to plan what their Azure costs will be for the next 6 months to a year, and it's kind of a bit of a painful exercise to do that. So we wanted to kind of try and help make that a bit simpler. So if I go into Turbo 360 now, and you can see we've got our sort of team costs broken down on this tree view here. And to access the budget planner, we go into the menu on, I'm looking at the Document 360 team here, and I can go into the tools for the budget planner. When I open this up, I'll get a default view that'll show me the last 6 months and the next 6 months, and I can change that by accessing the little drop down up here. And we can change the date ranges. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to influence what the diagram's going to look like by providing some information about projects I've got coming up. So on the diagram here, the red line is my expected costs that I think we're going to have based on the things that we know we've got coming down the pipeline. And the blue cost, or the blue line, is the actual cost we spend each month. And what I can do is I can go into the configuration up here, and I can put a record in for each month. So if you see, if we go through May, June, July, August, what I've basically said is I expect my costs in May to be around 20,000 for the month. So I've got a kind of an expected fixed cost there, and we think that's going to be fairly static for the next few months. But then we know we've got a new project going in August, so we could put a comment here to say what that project is, and we expect our costs to rise to 25,000, which they'll stay in September. And then October, we know we've got another project going in, so we think our costs will increase in October again. Again, I've got a little comment here. And then for me, I'm not thinking any further than October at this point in much detail. So this is where, how far do you want to project ahead? And what I can say is, from November onwards, at the minute, I'll just project that I'll probably have a 1% growth. So I've supplied a percentage here rather than a fixed value, and I've just toggled the little switch here to apply that for upcoming months until I provide any more info. So I can kind of think about my next 6 months and then come and provide the other future data later on. So I would just save that, and then basically that'll show my red line. So you can see we've got these steps up. So you can see that on the tooltip there's a little note about the new project being released. And you can see, I think this one up here will have a new project being released as well, that Project Y. And then other than that, I've got my projected 1% growth. And if I change the date to show a longer period, it'll just show that. So the idea here is, as a team manager, it just takes a couple of minutes. You can come in, you can configure it, you can see how you're doing month over month. And then iteratively, as you go through the year, you can start filling in your costs and revising them. If things have changed and you've done unexpected projects, you can just reflect that and show the updates as according. So if you broke your planned cost 1 month, you can just put a note in and say that was what it was. And for our Turbo 360 customers, it's really about making this simple. We don't want to spend loads of time. We want to make it so the team managers got access to data to be able to do this activity without depending on all the technical resources. You really want to be focused on delivering new applications. So we hope this feature is really popular with customers, and thank you for listening to today's video.